right, if I can have your attention, please. Ashley tells me it's time to start, so I guess we'll get started. I appreciate everybody coming out today. Looks like a good crowd. We have a new employee in waiting here that I hope will come back in 16 years. So, anyway, I'm David Bunton, the interim director. I'm still the interim director. I started my 18th month, April 1st. Well, no, there's probably some joke there. So it's my pleasure to welcome all of you to the 32nd Griffin Campus Classified Staff Award Ceremony. And normally we do hold this event in the springtime. Last year we had to delay till the fall, but we're able to do it this spring. I'm very glad with that. However, we have to continue with the hybrid arrangement with social distancing, so only the nominees and their immediate guests are here, and then welcome to all of you at home or on the campus watching. So it's been a difficult year professionally and personally, but all of you have worked hard to get the job done and keep the campus functioning at a very high level of excellence. And we often don't thank you enough for all the hard work that the staff do. You know, faculty get preoccupied on their job of teaching, getting grants, and doing research and something about publishing papers. But it's the staff's job and the hard work that they do that provides all the facilities, everything that the faculty then can do their job. And we thank you for that. I specifically want to thank the hard work of facility management over this year, and in particular the custodial staff for all the hard work that they've done to provide us a safe environment in which to do our work. Give them a round of applause, please. So I want to welcome the 2021 award nominees and their guests that are here in person, and again, all of you that are watching remotely. This is a very special day for the campus, and I'm very glad you're able to join us today and recognize some excellent campus team members. So with that, let's the program begin. Who's next? Okay, I want to introduce Marie Miller. She's this is part of the award team over here. So if everything goes well, it's their fault, and if anything goes wrong, it's probably going to be my fault. So okay, come on, Marie.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Marie Miller, and I would like to recognize the new employees on the UGA Griffin campus, as well as our recent retirees, beginning with academic programs. Linda Foster, building services worker. Cameron Harding, security guard. Center for Food Safety, Jada Thrash, administrative manager. Crop and Soil Sciences, Raymond Fontanez. Entomology, Christopher Hardin, and Sayar Laguerra, postdoctoral associate, and Christopher Hardin is the new research professional. Facilities management, John Allgood, electrical shop manager. From Plant Genetics, Jeffrey Doss, research technician 2. USDA, Christopher Boyle, maintenance mechanic, and Miley Mobley, agricultural science research technician. Now for our recent retirees. Brenda Bannister, administrative manager from Center for Food Safety. Sherrod Baden, greenhouse supervisor from the Department of Horticulture. Rodney Connell, research technician, Crop and Soil Sciences. Glenn Farrell, research professional, Food Science and Technology. Mary Flynn, administrative associate, Crop and Soil Sciences. Dr. Kirk Keeley, director of Food Pick. Deborah Linscott, lecturer from the College of Education. Alice Neal, she was the admin for Center for Food Safety. Jim Quick, research professional, entomology. And Tong Zhao, associate research scientist, Center for Food Safety. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Beth Horn, and I would like to recognize those employees who are receiving their Years of Service Awards. These awards are given to honor Griffin Campus employees for their years of service and dedication to UGA. The awards are presented to employees who have earned 10 or more years of service in increments of 5 years. Today, we are celebrating and recognizing these milestones achieved by our loyal employees. For 10 years, Angie Lewis, Plant Genetics; Seth Williams, Facilities Management Division. 15 years, Adam Gregory, Plant Genetics; Amy Mann, Center for Food Safety. 20 years, Art Kane, Office of Continuing Education; Jill Cunningham, Plant Genetics; Wayne Harvester, Center for Food Safety; Jason Hogan, Field Research Services; Dr. Ortega, Center for Food Safety; Dr. Dan Suter, Entomology. 25 years, Mary Flynn, Crop and Soil Sciences; Dell Hess, Facilities Management Division; Alice Neal, Center for Food Safety. 30 years, George Grenade, Field Research Services; and Ellis Moncrief, Horticulture. 30 years, Dr. David Button, Entomology and Interim Campus Director; Alan Bias, Horticulture; Dr. Paul Raymer, Crop and Soil Sciences. Now I would like to introduce Dr. Malak Iseli of the Center for Food Safety with a research highlight.
Good morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me well through the mask? Okay, so today, let me see if this works. Yep, okay, here. So first I would like to thank the organizing committee for inviting me to talk to you about the recent research we've been doing on SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19. And this research we've just started about 2 months ago, so there's just some preliminary data that I'm going to be showing you. So first, the big question we're trying to ask is, can you catch COVID-19 from eating food if it's contaminated with the virus? Of course, this question has been asked a lot in the media early since the pandemic, and it's been fueled by detection of outbreaks in meatpacking facilities, so such as the pictures showing you here. We know from traditional foodborne viruses that food handlers can contaminate the food, such as if you have norovirus, for example, it can pass from the hands to the food. But we don't know that for SARS-CoV-2. Of course, the government, the CDC, and the FDA maintain that there is no evidence for SARS-CoV-2 to be transmitted through food. What they're basing this is that there is no epidemiological evidence, which means that there has never been an outbreak or a cluster of outbreaks where they detected food as the source of infection. It's always been person to person, and this is the major route of transmission. It's a respiratory virus, and that's the major route of transmission. But do we have another secondary minor transmission through the environment, water, or food? And this is what my lab is researching. Of course, this is also fueled by reports in the media from China that they've been detecting this virus on food. For example, early on packaging from Tyson meat, and they placed a ban. They don't want to import meat from them. And then they said they've detected it in shrimp and frozen meat. And as early as this past January, they said they've detected it in ice cream. So what that means is that they're detecting actually the genetic material. They're not detecting the actual infectious virus, and there's a huge difference between the two. So the virus just simply, it's like a little bowl of genetic material. In this case, it's an RNA, and then you have a capsid of protein around it, protecting the RNA, and then you have a bilayer of lipids around it. If you have injury to the bilayer of lipid, the virus is dead, but it can still have the genetic material. So you can still detect the genetic material, the RNA, but this doesn't mean that you have an infectious virus. So detecting an RNA doesn't mean that you have infectious virus on your food, for example, or anywhere. If you detect just RNA, it doesn't mean anything. It just means the virus was there and it may be dead. So what we're trying to ask, the big question is, if you have food, can it act as a surface? We know that touching a surface, the CDC said, if you touch the surface, and then the surface is contaminated and you touch your eye, mouth, or nose, you could get the virus like that. Can food act as a fomite, contaminated surface, to infect your pharynx, for example, through the mouth, and then infection in your throat? Or if you eat the food and it's contaminated, can it go through the gastrointestinal tract, through the stomach, and then to the intestine and infect the intestine? We know from previous research that this virus can replicate in the throat, in the pharynx, and it can replicate in the intestine. So those are the two major questions I'm trying to answer. Of course, it's difficult to work with this virus. First, it's a BSL-3 pathogen. We need a special lab to work with it. Second, there is no standard methods of detection in the environment. There is a lot of diagnostic methods from human beings, clinical samples, but there are no methods for detection of this virus in the environment. How do you detect this virus without injuring it and without causing it through the process to be dead? And this is the reason why we need this lab to work on this virus safely. So the first objective was to develop a method to detect this virus in food, and it's a long list of steps that need to be optimized. Each one of these steps, you could kill the virus through this process, and you need to optimize it so that at the end you don't get a false negative, because your process killed the virus. And I'm going to be showing you, hopefully this video is going to work, and I think I just should click on it. Nope. So I need some help with this. Let's see. Okay, maybe I just play it from here. Okay, yeah. So this is going to show you just briefly what in the lab itself, just for you to visualize it. And this is the process of virus optimization detection from fruit basically. And it's a long process. It's 5 to 6 hours. I'm just going to show you 2 minutes of that. And I wish I hear that music in my head when I'm working in the lab. Of course not. All I hear is machines and the roaring of the fan in my head. So basically, yeah, it's a quick one. But basically, you have your food, and you want to dislodge the virus from the food in a way without killing it. So there's a lot of pipetting, shaking, and then separation of viral particles from the food. So this is now collecting it from the food itself. Of course, this is artificially contaminated. It's all, we're doing it to optimize the method. And then this is a centrifugation step, which would separate by speed the fruit itself, the particles from the plant, the fruit, from the virus itself. And then another process of concentrating the virus using these devices, their ultrafiltration. It will separate if you have a large volume and you want to have it into a smaller volume. You use those devices to make a smaller volume of the virus so you can work with it. Another centrifugation, another collection. And the more samples you have, the longer time it's going to take. And after you collect it, you want to make sure that you don't have bacteria contaminating your sample. Of course, the plant, the fruits itself has a lot of bacteria. You don't want that because that's going to interfere with detection assay later. And at the end, after collection of the samples, then we culture the virus on cells. Those viruses, they only grow inside cells. So if you have a virus and it's infectious and it kills the cells, you know that you have a virus. If not, then you know. And these are the 96 well plates that we use them. And they have cells, we use them to infect the virus. Of course, it's a long process. After the 7 days, you wait 4 to 5 days. Then you take the plates and read them under the microscope. Each well of those needs to be read under the microscope. So I spend hours just looking under the microscope and scoring wells. So this is basically the process of assay development. And then after that, we have an assay that detects sensitive enough to detect the virus on fruits. And now I'm going to be showing you some of the experiments in which we put the virus, artificially contaminated fruit, and track the virus through time, whether it survives or not. The first one, of course, these are preliminary. The first one is on frozen fruits. So we've got two types of fruits. We put the virus, and then we store the fruits in -20. And this is showing you by the time 28 days, which is like after a month, in the red bar, you can see that the virus still survives. So if you have fruit that is contaminated with the virus and then you freeze it, there is not likely nothing is going to be inactivated. The virus is going to stay there. Next, these fruits, the same type of fruits, were stored under retail conditions. So I have an environmental chamber which I can control light, humidity, and temperature. So I put them as if like you're buying it from retail store, and then track them through time. So the red bar, you see after 7 days, the virus was still detected and is still infectious. Of course, it decreases through time, but it's still there. The last one I'm going to be showing you, what if you wash the fruit? So washing with water, this experiment was done just washing 10 minutes, shaking it so hard in order to remove. So the first in type A, you'd see there is some decrease, but in type B, there is a 1 log decrease, and we look for this 1 log, which means 90% reduction. So 90% reduction in one type, the other one didn't show much reduction. So washing does help. Actually, wash your fruits with water, it does help. And finally, now we know that the virus can survive for a long time, but can you catch COVID from the food? That's a big question. I don't have the answer for it now. It needs further investigation, and I'm working with collaborators in the veterinary medicine to use animal models, infect them with food contaminated, and see if that's going to transmit or not. Of course, this is a big deal. We don't want to scare the public and say, yeah, you can catch COVID from food, because this can contribute to food insecurity, and we don't want food to be thrown away, especially during the pandemic. So what will you do? This is gonna just preliminary and would require further investigation. And I would leave it at that. And thank you, and congratulations for everybody who's nominated, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Well, that was fascinating. Looks like a lot of time dressed up in the PPE. That would get uncomfortable, I think, after a while. So if you don't know, last year we spent quite a bit of time, well, facilities did, converting a lab in the Melton building to a level 3 containment laboratory so Dr. Aselli could do her research on COVID. The entire Center for Food Safety Laboratory is already a level 2 containment. So we were quite pleased to do this, and very, very glad that she was able to do this research, very, very timely and very critical at this time to help the food industry. So it's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker. This is Dr. Nick Place, who's the current Dean and Director of the University of Georgia College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences. He started January 1st this year. Now, Dr. Place had planned to be here in person, but something came up. I think what happened is he got his second COVID shot yesterday and probably wasn't feeling too good, so he decided he'd just stay this out and come another time. But he did send us a video, which we're going to show. And for introduction, Dr. Place grew up on a dairy farm in Pennsylvania. He got his bachelor's degree at Delaware Valley College in Pennsylvania, and then a master's in dairy and animal science at Penn State, and then his doctorate in agricultural and extension education at Penn State. So go Nittany Lions. Prior to coming to UGA, he was the dean and director of the Florida Cooperative Extension Service in Gainesville. And he was there a number of years, and as dean and director, he oversaw all of the extension personnel in the Florida counties, 13 research and education centers, 15 academic departments, and the School of Forest Resources. And then prior to that, he was extension director and at the University of Maryland, and was in the College of Chemical and Life Sciences. So Dr. Place's research area, scholarly activity is on teaching and learning, education in domestic and international extension services, and the role of youth, community, and economic development. So with that, please join me in welcoming Dr. Dean Place virtually. Okay, guys,
So
I
it
guess
is
we
an
can start the
honor
video.
to be able to speak with you all and to share in this event, even if from a distance. Though I am sad I'm not able to be with you today, I look forward to being present with you again soon and to personally congratulate you on a successful year on the University of Georgia Griffin campus. Knowing the important work done here in Griffin, it is clear that it can only be accomplished with the support of knowledgeable, dependable, and professional faculty and staff members on campus. Despite the challenges of the last year, your ability to adapt to rapidly changing circumstances while maintaining the integrity of these services and programs on the Griffin campus has been impressive and worthy of respect. Your effort has enriched your community through education, helped propel the Griffin campus forward as a leader in COVID-19 research, and meaningfully advanced research, extension, and instruction throughout our state and beyond. Research and innovation efforts on this campus and your role in their support are vital in finding solutions to some of the most complex issues that we face today. Research-focused centers such as the Center for Food Safety, the Center for Urban Agriculture, and FoodPIC are important in moving our society toward a more sustainable and safe food system, readily available extension resources, and more efficient production of new food products. These few examples cannot fully encompass all that is done on your campus, and I wish I could expand to include all of the brilliant projects and research to which you're devoting time and energy. Know that as I've learned more and more about Griffin since January, I'm continually impressed by your efforts in so many areas, and I cannot wait to continue learning and working with you to elevate our work at the Griffin campus. The University of Georgia Griffin campus also provides access to high-quality education and resources for students seeking to study agriculture, business, family consumer sciences, education, and social sciences. As staff members, your efforts to continue providing that high-quality experience to students throughout this unique year has encouraged students to continue learning, reaching out, and engaging with their education, even when it didn't look like what they had anticipated or were used to. Your consistent support may have made all the difference in a student's experience during this year. To the 2021 Classified Employees of the Year, congratulations. Your excellent work over the last year makes you very well deserving of this award, and we are proud that you are part of our family. You have made valuable contributions to Griffin in a year when circumstances were possibly more challenging than they ever have been. In the same way, nominees should also be proud of the ways that they have contributed to and improved upon the programs offered here, and know that they are equally deserving of the honor being given today. To those receiving meritorious service awards, your dedication to the Griffin campus is admirable, and we are lucky that you have chosen to serve the mission of the Griffin campus through your career. Our hope is that you have found your work fulfilling, knowing that you, along with the work you do, are important, valued, and appreciated. So as the Dean and Director of the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, I'm very proud to partner with each of you to solve complex issues facing our world today, from food security and safety, to educating the next generation of students in a variety of fields. Without your diligent efforts, these goals would not be achievable. So I'm thankful that each of you have chosen to be part of the UGA family in Griffin. And go Dogs.
And now we move on to the exciting part of our program, the Classified Employees of the Year. This is the 32nd year of the University of Georgia Griffin Campus Classified Employee Award, recognizing classified personnel for outstanding and sustained contributions to faculty, college, campus, and university programs.
These awards were made possible because of D.W. Brooks. He was alumnus of UGA CAES. Mr. Brooks devoted his career to improving lives through innovations in agriculture and realized that people were our greatest assets. From what I've read, I believe Mr. Brooks saw farmers and agriculture as the lifeblood of this country. To help them achieve, it took education, research, and instruction. The people that contribute to the land-grant mission should not be forgotten and should be recognized for their valuable contributions.
Since 1990, the D.W. Brooks Fund has provided the finances for these classified staff awards and expenses for the associated awards programs at the Griffin campus. We are appreciative of the contributions of D.W. Brooks, his family, Goldkist, and the fund that makes it possible for us to honor our technicians, administrative assistants, bookkeepers, custodians, and others for their exceptional performance, commitment, dedication, service, and loyalty.
The awards are presented to support personnel who have made the most significant impact on the programs at the Griffin campus, as reflected in superior job knowledge and performance, work attitude and initiative, dependability, communication, and time management. Nominees are first submitted by their respective department or unit. Then the award recipients are determined by a committee of their peers.
This year, we have 11 professionals from among our excellent classified personnel working on our campus who have been nominated for the 2021 Award of Excellence for Classified Personnel. We thank each one for his or her dedication and commitment to our land-grant mission of research, extension, and instruction on the campus and with the University of Georgia. We congratulate all 11 in being recognized by their colleagues as being the best of our best, and for your nomination for this prestigious Award of Excellence. Now let's get to know our nominees.
Richie Brayman has been with the Center for Urban Agriculture since 2007 and currently serves as a developer and systems administrator. Through his job, he creates technical, online, and program solutions while providing support and creative leadership in pursuit of extension and research projects. Richie has been instrumental in helping make the center's web-based programs reach nearly 5,000 employees of Georgia businesses and provide over 11,000 hours of continuing education. Dr. Ellen Bowski of the Center for Urban Ag praised Richie for his leadership and his willingness to help others. He has gently and persistently brought us all along with him, explaining, demonstrating, and always instructing, said Bowski. There is an endless line of people at his door, but he always seems to make time for another project and never turns people away.
Avery Bray has been with UGA Griffin for 5 years, serving as an Instruction Technology Systems Professional Assistant for academic programs. In his position, Avery provides computer support for faculty, staff, and students, as well as providing training on new programs and technologies to UGA Griffin personnel as needed. He is described as a self-starter with an incredible work ethic and someone who is always willing to go the extra mile to ensure a project is finished to the highest standard. Avery Bray has developed into one of the most impressive people I have come across since I've been working in information technology, said Lee Taylor, Academic Programs IT Manager. I have watched him over the last 5 years transition from an intern with a good foundation in the basics to a true professional in this space.
Brett Bias is a research professional one in the entomology department and has worked with Dr. David Button's field crop entomology since 2014. Prior to joining Button's team, he worked as a part-time utility worker under Dr. Chris Brayman from 2009 through 2014. In his current position, Brett provides technical support for the field crop IPM research program, as well as supervising and coordinating the temporary workers for the group. Dr. Button noted that Brett's impact on his program was immediate. I myself quickly learned that I could rely upon him without reservation to manage all aspects of our field-based research studies. Brett has contributed much to the success of my program. Without his skill set, work ethic, and talents, our program could not be as productive and as well recognized as we currently enjoy.
Kenny Corley is the carpenter for the Facilities Management Division, a position he's held for the past 5 years. Dale Hess, Director of Plant Operations, stated Kenny shines in his traditional duties of more typical carpenter skills and is a tremendous asset to the mission of the campus. However, he also described Kenny as someone who has never shied away from taking on a task outside his regular duties. Kenny routinely steps in to help with electrical work, HVAC equipment, setting up and breaking down for events, and comes in after hours when needed to help check on campus issues. He is recognized as a hard-working team member who can get the job done and has earned the respect of his fellow co-workers, said Hess. With Kenny's hard work and commitment, the Griffin campus is a much more pleasant place to work.
Megan Denbacher has been with UGA Griffin since June 2017, serving as a full-time research professional under the supervision of Dr. Francisco Diaz in the Center for Food Safety. A typical day for her consists of designing and conducting experiments directed at detection, control, and elimination of pathogenic foodborne microorganisms in food. Megan is also in charge of laboratory management and supervision of student workers. Dr. Diaz noted, as a laboratory researcher, Megan has excelled beyond expectations in her assigned duties, and she has demonstrated to be a seasoned leader who supports other researchers and students. Her passionate commitment to our center demonstrates that Megan is very deserving of being recognized by the Griffin campus community.
Lauren Hatcher came to UGA Griffin in 2017 to be part of the Food Product Innovation and Commercialization Center, better known as FoodPIC. In 2019, she became a project manager where she works closely with food entrepreneurs and companies to develop safe, stable, and legal food and beverage products. In her work, she has completed over 75 projects, one being developing the process to make cold smoked honey, which was integral in helping a client win at the Flavor of Georgia contest in 2019. Dr. Kurt Keeley, Director of FoodPIC, praised Lauren for being such an asset to the center. Lauren's willingness to share her knowledge and her openness to working with a broad range of personalities and technical challenges have greatly impacted the FoodPIC program in a very positive way.
Ryan Hodgson has been with Field Research Services for 16 years and currently serves as the unit's Senior Agricultural Specialist. In his position, Ryan works alongside and manages the grounds crew and also designs, installs, and maintains landscapes, hardscapes, and irrigation systems throughout campus. He is described as someone who is always willing to go the extra mile, and he has often worked behind the scenes on many campus events and served as a campus ambassador. Dr. James Buck, Interim Director of FRS, praised Ryan for his work in the department. Ryan has become a trusted face of FRS, and his own campus growth, leadership, and goodwill have contributed greatly to the success of the unit and the entire Griffin campus.
Angie Lewis has been with the Plant Genetic Resources Conservation Unit for just over 9 years. She currently is employed as a Research Technician 3, where she works with the warm season grass germplasm collection. Angie is responsible for the maintenance of a large clonal grass collection, as well as performing regenerations each year to ensure grass germplasm samples remain viable for distribution to stakeholders worldwide. Dr. Melanie Harrison, Research Leader for PGRCU, stated what stands out about Angie is her compassion and empathy for her fellow employees. She was always willing to help in any way she can and is truly a team player who finds joy in seeing the team and others excel. Her humility, selflessness, and compassion are commendable and deserving of recognition.
Ben Lopez is a research professional too in crop and soil sciences, where he has worked with the Small Grains Breeding and Genetics program since 2016. In his position, he conducts research, maintains project field equipment, trains staff and students, and works with visiting scientists and the Young Scholars program. Dr. Mohammed Margome stated it was with Ben's help that his wheat breeding program was able to modernize equipment and adopt new technologies that meet the 21st century breeding challenges. He described Ben as someone who has been very impactful to the program. Since he came on board, we have been able to release 13 wheat cultivars, which have been licensed to private companies and are being grown in Georgia and the Southeast, contributing significantly to the income of wheat growers, the ag industry, and export markets.
Sarah Sawyer works in horticulture as a program specialist too and has been with UGA Griffin for 5 years. Her role is to provide support to the Georgia Master Gardener Extension Volunteer Program for 65 extension agents and more than 2,500 master gardeners. State Master Garden Coordinator Sherry Dorn stated it is because of Sarah that her office can offer much more support to agents and volunteers, as she easily tracks multiple projects and events simultaneously. She also handles all social media, as well as coordinating both in-person and virtual events. It is her terrific attitude and generous spirit that makes her a pleasure to work with, said Dorn. Sarah's efforts certainly merit credit from the Horticulture Department and make her an excellent candidate for UGA Griffin Campus Classified Staff Award.
Brian Vermeer is a research professional 1 in plant pathology and has been with UGA Griffin for just over 7 years. He works with both Dr. James Buck on small grain trials as well as with Dr. Alfredo Martinez on turfgrass diseases. In the turfgrass program, he performs research experiments, manages the turfgrass research plots and greenhouses, and works with graduate students on their projects. Since his tenure, the turf disease trials have expanded significantly, and Brian has become the right arm of Dr. Martinez. To put simply, Mr. Vermeer has taken my research and extension program to a higher level, said Martinez. Besides his technical and intellectual skills, Brian is personable and relates easily to people, always showing enthusiasm, dedication, and a strong commitment for what he does.
Bear with us. Nominees, please come forward when we call your name for your certificate.
Richie Brayman, Avery Bray. Brett Bias, who is not able to be with us today. Kenneth Corley. Megan Denbacher.
Lauren Hatcher. Ryan Hodgson. Angie Lewis. Ben Lopez.
We'll get this figured out eventually.
Sarah Sawyer. Brian Vermeer. Let's give another round of applause to all our nominees. It's our privilege to announce this year's Classified Employee of the Year awards are presented to Marie Miller.
I won again! And Beth Horn.
Woo!
You think they'll let us do it twice in a row?
They might. I don't know.
On a serious note.
Congratulations to Richie Brayman, Center for Urban Ag.
And Ryan Hodgson.
Now we'd like to welcome Dr. Button back for closing remarks.
Wow, that was great. I was in total suspense too. I was really tempted to, I actually didn't know who won. So I was tempted to flip that over and take a peek, but y'all would have saw me, so I didn't do that. You know, we first started doing the staff awards in 1990, I believe. If you look in the program, all the previous winners are listed. And I guess I like to say that I was here then for that first program, along with Paul Raymer and Alan Bias. And looking at that, the two winners that first time were Ann Autry and Bill Slaughter, who were been here a long time, served many years, but I think both of them were here over 40 years and very deserving. And Dr. Arkin, when he was director, always used to say that the campus is like a family, and in many ways it is, and I think that's one of the strengths and positive things about the campus that we all appreciate. And sometimes it's literally a family where we have, you know, parents and children both working at the campus. And about 20 years later, another winner of the staff award was Bob Slaughter, who was Bill's son. And Bob worked for me for a number of years too. And today, I just noticed in the audience here, we're very fortunate that Lauren Hatcher is one of the nominees in Food Pick. Her mother is here from Athens, and she's an employee in the entomology department in Athens. And you worked here in the director's office for a while. And Rich Brayman, his mother's here also, Chris Brayman, who's department head of entomology in Athens and was a faculty member here prior to that. And I think her husband's here. I think I recognize that guy, George. So anyway, kind of those family connections for the campus have always been, I think, a real strength for us, both figuratively and literally. So today that ends our program. I want to thank the organizing committee over here on the right, Ashley Biles, Beth Horn, and Marie Miller. And of course, Beth and Marie won the awards last year. And Richie and Ryan, by the way, you guys will be hosting this next year. So thank you very much, and thank you for your attendance. And those of you, the nominees and winners, please stick around so we can take some pictures over here under the arch. And then I think we're going to have a meal here for the nominees and their guests in a little bit. So thank you.